Hello Year 1 and welcome to this week's Maths Mash. Now this week we have been learning how to count in 2s, 5s and 10s, and we're trying to get really speedy at remembering our 2s, 5s and 10s. So this week we started off by making towers of 2. So we used lots of cubes, we made towers of 2 and then we started to count in 2s. So for example, I've got 2 towers here, 2 towers here, and 2 towers here. So instead of counting every single brick, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we remembered that we could count in 2s. So really simply, we then counted 2, 4, 6, super speed. Then we moved on to looking at some of our learning critters' handprints, and we noticed that each hand has got 5 fingers. So we thought it'd be a really good idea to count in 5s. So instead of counting every finger, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we used our 5s to help us count quickly. 5, 10, 15, 20. And last but not least, we recognised that in these bundles, there were 10 straws. So instead of counting out every single straw in the bundle, we now know that that is a 10. And this is a 10. And this is a 10. And so is this. So instead of counting all the straws, we used our skill of counting in 10s. 10, 20, 30, 40. Now, when we got really good at that, we had a look at our number squares and we recognized some patterns. So let's see if I can share my screen and I can show you those number squares. Because we've started to realize that when we count in 2s, we kind of skip counting. And every single number in our 2 times table ends in a 2, a 4, a 6, an 8, or a 0. So we got really good at recognizing when some of the numbers were maybe a little bit incorrect because we came up with our new rule. In the 2 times table, all the numbers end in a 2, 4, 6, 8, or a 0. So if I pick number 24, for example, we got really good at knowing that 24 is in our 2 times table because it ends in a 4. When we had a look at counting in 5s, we realized that we always had a 5 or a 0 at the end. It went from a 5 to a 0 to a 5 to a 0. So we remembered that 5 and 0s always came at the end. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And last but not least, the easiest one of all, when we count in 10s, we know it always ends in a 0. And we were looking down our number line at the end here, our number square, sorry. So we know that 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100 all end in a 0. They have that T sound when we say the words. So we then started to show off by using our 2s, 5s and 10s to make some equal groups. So we gave you loads of counters and you came up with some brilliant ways of grouping the counters so we could start to count them. So if you look here, we had some children that grouped their counters into 2s. So they used their 2 times table to count all of the counters up. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. That's so much quicker than having to count every single counter. Some children use their 5s to help them group. So they grouped the counters into 5s and then counted using their 5 times table. 5, 10, 15, 20. So they counted the groups of 5 that they made. And I wonder if you can spot what we grouped them in here. We used our 10s to help us count. This was the speediest one. 10, 20. How speedy is that? That's so much faster than having to count every single counter. So we've done some super learning this week by solving some problems using our 2s, 5s and 10s. So I would love you to have a go at practicing your 2s, 5s and 10s counting at home. So let's have a little look at the challenges that you might like to do this week. You might like to find 20 objects around your house. These could be pegs, stones, Lego bricks, pencils, even screwed up pieces of paper. You could scrunch some paper up and put them into little paper balls. And I would like you to have a go at putting your objects into groups of 2 and counting in 2s. So you can see here, I have got my objects and I've put them into groups of 2 so I can practice my counting up in 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So if you would like to have a go at practicing in 2s using lots of objects from around your house, you might like to do our paddle challenge. Now, we've had Ellie, the inquiring elephant, help us out this week. And Ellie's been doing her own counting in 2s, 5s and 10s, but I need you to have a look at her work and see if you can help her correct some of her answers. So look here, she's had a go at counting in 2s. Are you ready? 0, 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 10. What rule has she forgotten? What are our numbers ending when we are counting in 2s? See if you can spot her mistake. She's then had a go at counting in 5s and 10s. So you might need to see if you can mark her work for her. If you would like an extra challenge, I'm looking to see how speedy you can be in a time trial. So how quickly can you recall all your multiplication facts? How quickly can you count in 2s, 5s and 10s? So have a go at timing yourself to count in 2s, starting at 0 and ending at 50. Time yourself counting in 5s, starting at 0 and ending at 100. And time yourself counting in 10s, starting at 0 and ending at 100. And we would love to know how speedy you can count in 2s, 5s and 10s. So as always, you can pick your own challenge and you can have your own go for our Maths Mash this week. And we would love to see some of your work. So if you would like to share it on Tapestry, please do, and the teachers would be excited to see it. Have fun this week counting in 2s, 5s and 10s, and we'll see you very soon. Bye everyone.